Welcome to Friday Night Live. For those people that are logging in early, we have got a packed show tonight, which is to say that we don't really know what we're doing, but we are going to be discussing a cartridge on Why You Gay, the 300 Winchester short mag. So it was Trent's turn to choose a calibre, and he's going to pull this out of it while I am going to talk it up. We're also going to talk about some Deanna air rifles. We're going to talk about the recent training programs that we've been running. What else are we going to talk about? What else is new?
There's not really a lot that's new. Oh, the new
there's a new policy on
barrel stone.
On barrel serial numbers. Have you got that printed out?
It was.
I told Nick to print it out and put it in there. So
yes, it was printed out somewhere.
Something's about to start printing.
the printer's about to go, guys, for all those sooks out there that don't know. What happened to the bread that you pulled out?
Oh, I've got to put those.
Is it all crusty and shit or what?
Away too.
Yeah, we'll do that in a bit.
By we mean you.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Been fed tonight too.
Oh, there's leftover bits of crunchy bread. That's what I was looking for.
Oh, okay, there you go. Well, we'll put that over there for now because it's on your side. There's that paperwork that we're chasing. Yes, we are printing out the
What flavour is it? Like, obviously cheese. Cheese and bacon.
what flavour? What flavour? Cob loaf.
John was
flavour.
seriously rang me during the week and said, like, Trent doesn't have any dietary requirements, does he? I said, he has some requirements. Whatever you cook must have bacon in it.
Yeah.
No, I said he's Jewish.
That's right.
Not Jewish.
Only when it comes to spending money.
Because he's a tight
And my circumcision. Right, Bill's looking like he's really excited to get on.
Yeah, really excited.
Slap
There you go. Jump in. I'm just going to sit here and eat cob loaf while you're... This is good, eh?
I'm gonna have some cold loaf.
Yeah. You're on in 5 minutes, so... Or something like that.
Yeah, that's what he normally says.
7 minutes later. Come.
Just stuck in.
We're gone. Hi everyone. It's old shit with Bill. Yeah.
G'day Tyrone, Ron.
This is
Macropod's on. Macropod.
This
Macropod wants me to build him a reloading bench. I meant to measure up Brian's. I forgot.
Okay.
Sorry mate. I'll get you those measurements. But
Fuck you, Dirk.
what we got.
How's the
but
neck
I
going?
don't really want to make a reloading bench. That's not what I do. Bill can do that. What do you got, Bill? Swords.
What we've got, not gun related, but weapon related. We'll start with the youngest thing first. Well, there's two things here that are probably about the same age.
You and that.
Cavalry sabre.
Why was
Possibly.
it called a sabre and not a
Well,
sword?
I don't know. It's not a sword. A sword's a straight. Sabres are curved, I think. That's what
If it was shiny, it would be called a lightsaber.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What?
I'd be caught. I'd
How did you
be
not get that?
If it was white.
It was light.
light.
Oh,
Light sabre.
Light.
right.
You with catch up.
He's too busy eating to worry about stuff.
In late in the campaign in Palestine, the Australian light horse were given these. Up until then, they were using their bayonets as their.
What era are you talking about? During the First World War.
Yeah, during the First World War, around about 1917, 1617 in Palestine. The light horse were mounted infantry, in fact, and they weren't regarded as needing.
We've had this argument, but anyway.
Yeah, we know.
They're fucking cavalry.
They weren't regarded as needing a sabre, but then Billy Hughes must have found a bit of money in his back pocket, and they gave the Aussies sabres. I don't know if they were universally issued or whether there was just some units that were given them, but it was pretty late in their campaign anyway. But the funny part about these, British, you would say, heritage. You know, we would have, being Australian, we would have followed what the British were using. Funnily enough, a lot of these cavalry sabres prior to the First World War were made under contract, and quite often the contracts were let in Germany. So you quite often see German production marks on these things. A bit funny. The Germans made them for us, and then for the British and for us, and then a few years later we were waving them around trying to chop their heads off. But that's one little pickup that I've made. It's been treated pretty badly, this one. I've not done anything to restore it, and it's been belted against something pretty tough on the
Probably Turkish helmets.
maybe, but it's got a lot of chips and dents along the cutting edge. That was just a pickup.
Why was the scabbard so big heavy scabbard?
So you can whack it.
Protect it.
Yeah, but I mean
I know the Japanese one is rigid too, but it could be used as a weapon as well.
Dual wield.
You know, as a club. I don't know.
If you unlock that that cheat code, you could have dual wielded it.
yeah, right.
Here we have a paw example. It's reasonable, but it's poor because it's been chopped off. There's a story to that, which I'll elaborate on in a minute. But the family story goes is this was captured by my great-grandfather on my mother's side, who was one of 7 brothers who fought in France in the First World War. The story is that he and a mate, or maybe one of his fellow soldiers, he was a lieutenant by then, captured a German officer, and my great-grandfather got the sword, and the other guy got the pistol that he had, which was may have been a little Walther, maybe a little Mauser Hemilda, or perhaps even a Luger would have been nice, but anyway, you can't have everything. But this is, I believe it's Prussian, the eagle, and there's some scroll there, and a Roman 2, and the same thing on the side of the handle here. There's interwoven leaves and a crown, and a Roman 2 as well. And
If you get that blade in the light, it looks Damascus.
this one, oh, I don't know. It's got a lot of engraving on it.
Oh,
and,
right.
And then it's been chromed.
A lot of embellishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why is it cut
someone's
down?
name in there.
You didn't tell us why it's cut down.
Oh, the reason it's cut down, when my great-grandfather was coming back from France, they were all told they weren't allowed to bring war souvenirs. Only the government was allowed to do that. They bought shiploads of stuff back to Australia. So he and his mates decided that, well, he would take it back with him. They got an axe and put it on a chopping block and chopped it off so it would fit in his kit bag. A real shame. But anyway.
That's all part of the story.
Yeah, it is part of the story.
It's a pretty common thing for war souvenirs to be cut like that, wasn't it though? Like you see rifles with duffel cuts on them for, to cut the stock in half and things like that.
Yeah, it was a prize, and it probably never meant anything to him. He didn't have a scabbard for it.
But I mean, that's all part of the story of that. You know, I see that. You know, if you and your brothers did it in the bloody 1960s, then you'd say, well, you fucked it. But that was done by the person who captured it from the German officer in order to smuggle it back into Australia.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that cut, we wouldn't have it here in front of us right now.
No, that's right. And there's a little bit of a story to it. My grandmother had this, his daughter, my mother's mother, and she had a little Mauser 22 rifle as well. And I saw this when I was a kid, when I was only 12 or 13, and I showed some interest in it. And when she was working out what she was going to do with all this stuff, she said to me, do you want that sword? I said, oh my word. And I got it when she died. It was left to me in her will. But the Mauser rifle disappeared into one of my uncle's hands, and he actually ended up in Queensland. But years later, like in about 2002 or 3, he rang me up and said, oh, I don't want to license this rifle anymore. Do you want it? I said, certainly. And so he sent it to me in the post, by way. And you know, funnily enough, it never hurt anyone on the way and never got in under anyone's feet and tripped them up or anything like that. And it arrived without killing anyone. So it just shows you how useless Mauser rifles are.
The services of Australia Post must have deteriorated.
Oh, they've gone down the tube, yeah, as someone would say. The piece de resistance is this lovely.
If you don't understand the joke to that, then just don't take that too seriously.
No.
But for those people who understand the joke, you understand the joke. Anyway, keep going.
Well, the other interesting thing, well, just a off the cuff thing, is that this sword is marked quite beautifully with a maker's name, A. Hermes in Solingen, which is a very famous town or city in Germany for cutlery, and they obviously made swords as well. And quite often these cavalry sabres are Solingen marked as well. I don't have one, but that's the only example I have, and it's only got.
You had 2 of them at one stage, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but I think I sold one. I've lost it. Beaten it. But,
There'll be an old bloody VB or something next door, and it'll be using to chock up the fucking one side of it or something.
Yeah. This piece of cutlery we've got here though is probably worth 20 times what any of these 2 might be worth. It's a Japanese, what we like colloquially call a samurai sword. We've had a dear friend of ours take the handle off it, and we've copied the maker's marks that are on the handle under the grip, but we haven't been able to decipher who or what it is. But just with the limited knowledge that our friend had, he estimated that this was more than 300 years old because of the way the markings are made on the grip.
All hand done, not stamped or anything like that. A lot of the later ones are all stamped.
That's right. This one, the maker has engraved his signature, and we believe it's his title, his name, and the school or workshop that he was working in.
And the season of the year that it was manufactured, I think is the other one.
Yeah. But and there's a few stains on the blade, but it's still in beautiful condition. And if it is 300 years old, it's in absolutely excellent condition. It's obviously been looked after reasonably well, and
it's fucking sharp.
And it's very sharp, yeah. And if there's anyone out there who is an expert on Japanese swords, or knows someone who might be an expert on Japanese swords, we'd be very, very interested to show them and see if they can tell us any more about it. Apparently, if it's a significant item, so you can send these back to Japan to these people, swordsmiths there, who will recondition that to make it look like brand new again. And that's a yes or no. I'm a bit reluctant sometimes to make old stuff look like new again, because you've lost a lot of the character. So, and I believe that with firearms as well as anything like this. But the risk is that if it's a significant item, you won't get it back. The Japanese will seize it.
Yeah, if it has some sort of national significance,
Yeah,
or if it was
has.
part of a well-to-do family or something like
That's right. If it is significant, it's a danger to send it back. I have seen swords that have been back there and come back again, and they look magnificent. They look like they do look like they're brand new again. A guy I knew know in Albany who was I haven't seen him for years now, but he was an avid samurai sword collector. He had about 6 or 7 when I spoke to him last, but that was 25 years ago. He's probably got a couple of hundred now, or he's retired on the money, I'm not sure. But anyway, they're just,
Well, those people who do that though, have them refurbished. Excuse me, do so for the investment value as well.
probably, yeah.
You know, so they put a bit of an investment into having it reconditioned for the sake of having the product they get at the end worth much more than what they've invested in it.
Yeah.
So from an investment perspective, then yeah. But I mean, you didn't purely get that for the investment value. It's also for the history and the heritage.
Yeah, history is the most important thing.
Mm.
If we don't cherish our history, whether it be our own exact, you know, in Australian history or history of other nations around the world, we're poorer for it, much poorer for it. These items were made with a lot of skill, even something like that, which was probably made in a production factory. It's still a fair bit of skill to make a blade like that with the scallops in the side.
Especially the era in which it was made. It's not like they had gas-fired bloody burners
Would
and
have
shit
been coal
like that
fired,
nowadays.
would have been coal fired, no doubt, in those days. Forges, but something like this would have been made, well, certainly prior to 1914, most likely, maybe late in the 1800s even, and it's poor because it was never looked after, but it's got a huge amount of engraving on it. The whole blade is engraved, and it's got somebody's name engraved into it, and then it's been chromed, and so the chrome obviously was put on there, I would have thought, to protect it over the years, but it was probably so thin,
Come off.
and it's come off, and it's a real shame. But it's a piece of history of our family. My great grandfather and three of his brothers went to the Boer War and fought there, all come home. And in the Second World War, my great grandfather landed at Gallipoli, went through the campaign there. I think he was evacuated with malaria or something, recovered, and his unit was sent to France then, and he saw the war out in France. So, and with 6 of his brothers in the First World War. So he was well travelled. I have his, I have 2 of his diaries, or well, one of a memoir of his time in South Africa, and another one is a little book that he took ashore in Gallipoli and wrote everything about what they did in Gallipoli. And he mentions doling out money to the boys. He was a lieutenant then, company sergeant, and his job was to look after the money, and it was and organising ammunition, organising food. And in the back end of the book is a poem that he's written about their time on Gallipoli, and it's quite interesting, very interesting. And we intend to have it restored, not restored, but to be protected so that it won't disappear, it won't deteriorate. It's in really good condition still. In the front, it lists all his people in his section, I guess it is. There's probably about 25 names, and there's one there that mentions some disposing of someone's kit, and we've looked him up, and he was killed on that day on Gallipoli, that person. And so it was my grandfather's job as a sergeant to collect his kit and send it back and his personal stuff, send it back to his family. Not a very nice task, no doubt. But anyway, folks, there's some old stuff, old shit. So it goes from about 100 and something years old, 100 and something years old, 300 plus years old.
Unfortunately, Ross has gone home. Otherwise, we could show you all what happens when you go to town to someone with one of these things.
Do you reckon?
We could run him through and see.
Oh no.
You wouldn't
Can't, Ross.
You wouldn't want to damage your swords.
No, I don't think we should. After all, he's the stud of the suburb down there, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Dromedale. King of Dromedale.
What a stud rag.
Yeah.
He's after a big set of nuts on him.
Well, there you go, folks. That's
Sweet.
everything.
Thank you, Bill.
No worries. Yeah. One thing I didn't mention is the artistic value in that, and the industrial value in that.
They work very similar.
They work similar, but there's a whole lot of difference between, and even that is the artistic value in that, the brass hilt with the eagle and so on. It must have cost a fortune to have something like that made. A fortune in their money, in their day. So, just something.
Good.
Interesting
Easy
stuff.
does it.
Interesting stuff.
Thanks, Bill. Oh, I just threw a water bottle. You want to talk about that first?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's do
So
it.
we've had a memo sent through from licensing in regards to barrels and serial numbers, and some of the information that's on here came, we believe, as a result of the Law Reform Commission review, where the WAFTA gave a significant input, but then there's a lot of it which we weren't, as an industry, weren't consulted on at all, to my knowledge. Okay, so the letter starts off as firearm barrel serial numbers in Western Australia. Dear firearm dealer, repairer, manufacturer, Reg 21 requires that the Commissioner compile and maintain a register of firearms. In support of the above requirement, on the 12th of July 2018, the officer in charge of licensing, this is getting really boring.
So it's been around for a
unique
while.
serial numbers. No, we've been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 12th of July 2018.
That's when we started talking about it. Explaining the process of recording unique firearm serial numbers, removable barrels, removable cylinders, and ammunition calibers. But as far as I know, like, this is the only thing official that we've had. Like, back then they spoke about it at the group meeting, but unless you attended, you wouldn't know what I was talking about.
Over the last couple of years, though, we have been changing up with the laser engraver. We have been changing up, all those old air rifles
The way
that come
that
with
we-
the mod
yeah.
000.
Oh yeah, that was a separate thing that the police asked us to do.
Just the generic
Yeah.
serial numbers that were on a lot of firearms, but it does go into that on that as well.
Yeah, but basically what it was is that if you got a replacement barrel, an additional barrel, something like that, when does it need to be recorded on your license? So it goes into it, prompted further firearm barrel related questions, and these included: do all barrels require a serial number? When does a barrel require a serial number? Is an unchambered barrel blank a major firearm part? If not, how, if at all, are barrel blanks recorded on the 20s and 21s monthly returns, which is the paperwork that we send to the police licensing?
Yeah, so if you don't know what that is, every time you drop a firearm off with us, you'll see that we fill out some forms. That's what we call the 20s and 21s. So the 20s means that we're taking the firearm in, the 21 is us getting the firearm out.
And can barrel blanks be sent through the post? So the above questions are addressed individually. Marking and recording barrels will not be discussed, as this was covered in reference A. And that's how we mark the barrels, and that's not relevant. So do all barrels require a serial number? The barrel belonging to a firearm with a unique serial number does not also require a serial number, provided the firearm has no other barrels. So if you've got one gun with one barrel, then the barrel itself doesn't have to be serial numbered, yeah, or recorded separately on your license. When does a barrel require a serial number? We're not missing a page, are we? No. A barrel brought into stock to replace a current customer's worn or damaged barrel does not require a unique serial number, provided the customer's firearm already has one. Again, so if you were bringing a gun into us to have the firearm, the barrel replaced, that is that you bring it in with one barrel in it, you leave with it with one barrel in it, you are not required to have that barrel registered separately on your license, and we're not required to put the serial number on there. Doesn't really answer the question about what happens with the old barrel though.
Well, obviously the old barrel can't go out.
No, you can't take the old barrel away with you.
No.
That's one of the things. But what do we do with the old barrel and the serial number and that sort of stuff?
Well, yeah, it's
Anyway, it's another question. A barrel brought into stock to be a component of a manufactured firearm does not require a unique serial number, provided the manufactured firearm already has one. So if we're bringing a barrel in and an action to put together for a custom build, the barrel doesn't need a serial number, provided the action has a serial number.
Yep.
A barrel brought into stock for the purpose of increasing the license holder's inventory must have a unique serial number. So if I'm ordering a barrel in just for stock, then I have to have a unique serial number on it.
Yeah, well, that one there also means like if you've got a 20-inch shotgun and then you want a 28-inch barrel to go with that 20-inch shotgun, then it's going to need its own unique serial number.
That's the next point that they're talking about. But that one's talking about inventory, so our stock.
Yeah, well, license holders.
No, that's the next one.
That could be anybody.
Yeah, but license holders don't have stock.
Yeah, you do. That's
Like
just
an individual
that
license
says
holder.
inventory. Yeah, well, I've got an inventory at home. You know, I've got multiple firearms, so that's my inventory. So if I want to add a barrel to that, like if I was a...
It depends on what your interpretation of inventory is.
Yeah, but that's what they mean there, I reckon.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that. But anyway,
That's what I read it as.
I mean, at the end of the day, the point's the same. Okay, so if you're bringing a barrel in, you know, as an addition to the firearms that are already on your license, that needs to be recorded.
Yeah.
Firearms with multiple barrels requires a unique serial number on each barrel.
Yep.
Okay. So obviously the original one barrel would just have the serial number of the gun.
Yep.
And then the other barrel would have a serial number which they get into a bit more in a minute.
Yep.
Is an unchambered blank barrel a major firearm part? No. A barrel blank is a rifled steel tube that will later be machined to become a finished rifle barrel. It is not yet a firearm barrel until the chamber has been cut into it, at which time the associated ammunition cartridge calibre can be determined. So the question there would be, is an individual end user, so
What?
individual end user, if they were to be in the possession of a barrel blank, they're saying it's not a major firearm part, but could that be a licensing issue there?
Could very well be. If you can now order a barrel blank and don't have to have a license, well, that could...
Doesn't have to be recorded on your license, but neither does ammo or magazines. And you'd have to make a pretty reasonable explanation about why you've got it.
Yeah, you'd think so.
So maybe they're going to treat that on an individual basis, yeah? So, yeah. So if it's got a chamber in it, it's got to be recorded on your license. Are barrel blanks okay to post? Barrel blanks are not yet firearm barrels. Posting them is not contravened WA firearms legislation. So what? That's just so if TSC want to send me a barrel, they can send it to me in the post, which we've been doing for years because they've had it in writing from police that that's okay to do that. Is there a requirement to record barrel blanks on Form 20s and 21s? There is no requirement to record a barrel blank on a Form 2021 until a chamber has been cut into it. Once this occurs, it becomes a major firearm part. Okay, that's pretty cool because I've got fucking heaps of barrels out the back and none of them got chambers in them. And so they're not really, I don't have to record them yet.
No, so they're not a firearm major part.
Well, yours sincerely, OIC. A serial number must be unique. Generic markings don't meet Regulation 21.
Yeah, that's
fine.
fine.
Yeah, so if you've got a gun where the serial number is unknown or it's 000 or it's something that's not supposed to be, like the model of the gun,
What, 22?
that's not acceptable anymore. But you can bring the gun to us and we will engrave a unique serial number on it and get your license changed appropriately. Firearms with multiple barrels require a unique serial number on each barrel. And this is just a policy on how to do it. So if it's a different caliber, it can have the same serial number because it's the difference is the caliber. So you could have a 308 barrel and a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel, and they can have the same serial number on them because the caliber would determine which one's which.
Yeah.
But if you had two 308 barrels, then one would have to have a different serial number. So the same serial number with an A at the end or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
The replacement barrel adopts the serial number of the barrel that the discarded barrel was removed from. Serial number of the firearm the discarded barrel was removed from. Okay. The new barrel adopts the serial number of the newly created firearm. Barrels referred to in note 3 and 4 being identified in distinct serial numbers. Cool. So that's the new serial number policy in regards to barrels. So it's cleared quite a few things up. I do know that there's a lot of people that even now are quite upset by the idea that they have to have all their spare barrels licensed, displayed on their license, or they can be in the possession of unlicensed firearm. Unfortunately, it's been going that way for a number of years now. So if you do have barrels at home, I would highly recommend getting them put on your license or getting rid of them because you could jeopardise your license. But it's still a grey area, and if the barrel doesn't have a chamber in it, then maybe you're fine. I'm not sure. That's probably a question for licensing. So any questions anyone's got so far in regards to that, shoot them through. Trent's on his phone, so he'll be reading comments. Got some more copper?
No, I don't think so. There.
It is rich, eh? Like it's really.
Just statements, really. Macropod, yeah, the noggin's alright, mate. Just healing up now, so yeah, it's coming along. I can see myself in the picture here. It looks like I've taken a bit of a spill, but I assure you I didn't.
It looks like Two-Face off Batman.
Yeah, well, it's healing up alright, so
It's all on
not
one
too
side.
bad. Yeah, it's all on one side, so.
Well, I thought it looked like he criticised his missus cooking while she was doing it, and
Bit of oil splashed up.
no, and she grabbed him by the hair and pushed him into a pan or something.
Yeah, pushing his face like the hound.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't happen because A, my wife loves me, and B, she's a great cook, so I would never criticise her cooking.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You only just have to look at me to know that she cooks well.
Yeah.
Because I know none of you believe it, but I actually used to be quite fit. So.
No one believes
No,
it.
I know, but I don't really give a fuck if any of you believe it, but that's just what it is.
Cool. Alright, so what else have we got to go on with?
Oh, there's a few little bits and things. We should actually,
What have we got there?
oh,
That's all your notes.
That's
for
my notes.
Created Short Man.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I think what we should do is we should have a little bit of a discussion with the people at home over why we've been off for the last 6 weeks.
We had one episode in between.
We did, but we missed. We missed.
I've been sick at least twice, two or three times now.
Yeah, well, you threw your back out the first time and you just.
And had a sook and went home.
Wow, I mean, it's kind of fair. I mean, you were limping around, you didn't look well.
Yeah. I did my back really bad about 10 years ago, throwing concrete slabs around. And it's like once, maybe twice a year, I do something silly and it plays up and I can't move.
And it can be something really, really, small too. Like
That's it.
you just twisted the wrong way when you put a gun into a rack or something like that, and that's him. You just see him just go, oh Jesus, and that's it. It's
A
over.
bit vigorous when I throw a leg over.
Yeah,
That'll do it.
I'm not sure about that one. But I'm assuming like a fella of your size might get a bit. Nah, I doubt it. Probably just lie there like a starfish.
That's it.
And then we had a couple of courses. So we had a
We had a marksman course and a long range course, didn't we?
a corporate day.
Was
the first two. So we actually had the corporate day and the marksman's course, which were both highly successful. And we did try to get on for those, but look, we just ran out of time. Then after that, I think everybody got crookier, which wasn't fantastic. And then I think we're actually on for a night. So we did all right.
I think we had one episode in there.
Yeah. And then we're back out at the farm again, which...
Yeah. And I remember you saying to me, we should do Friday Night Live. It was like 5:45 by this stage.
Yeah.
And I was still working, I was still getting guns set up.
And it was...
And it was like, I'm not doing that.
There was a lot of, a few little issues on that one where the guys add a couple of sort of newer products that we.
Well, we have a curveball every time we do a long range course. We have a curveball, and it keeps us on our toes. So unfortunately, I've usually got everything there that I could need to fix the issue, except for that one time when Attila came out. Remember?
No, I wasn't on that one.
Oh, were you?
No, Renee was on
Yeah,
that
okay. I couldn't get that gun fixed, but that was because there was a major problem with the optics.
one. Yeah, right.
And I'm not an optic technician.
Fair enough.
So yeah,
So now we're back on, but we should be back on now till Christmas.
we've got no more courses till March next year.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there shouldn't be too much. So what we want from you guys is now, especially in the comments below, let's get back on to getting back up to where we were with our viewers. So throw it out there, like, share, all that stuff. We will be back on every Friday.
Have you put it in the way?
I'm going.
But give us some.
Yeah, I'll put the clothes away.
Hang on, these two fellas are going to have a discussion over the top.
Switch everything off. Locked all the doors. I haven't locked the sea container.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Righto. I'll
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
Whatever topics you guys want to talk about, we want to hear from you. So throw it out there. Give us a list. You know, don't be afraid to tell us exactly what you want.
What products do you want to have a look at?
If we've got them on the shelf, we'll talk about them. If we don't, well, we'll still talk about them, but you just won't get to have a look at them. Yeah, look.
I'm covered in cold.
Oh, I know. The basically, you know, like we do this show for you guys, so we want your input, you know. And after we have a chat about these two air rifles that we've got from Diana, we're going to do the redraw for the Savage A22 Magnum that we had on. It feels like months ago that unfortunately the first guy didn't get back in contact with us, so we're going to redraw it tonight. So get back.
Is this cocked?
Oh, I hope not.
No.
So yeah, this is why we do the show for you guys. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about this or?
Yeah, let's move on.
I'm bored listening to you. That's why
Okay.
I'm playing with it.
Okay, well, let's go.
Alright, so this is a Diana model 470 that we've now got in stock. So it's the thumbhole model.
It's in
So-
that's in 22.
It's in 22.
Yep.
Yeah. But this is the underbarrel, like the underlever one. A lot of people prefer the underlevers. Well, they changed the way. It usually used to have a button on the end that you pushed.
No, it's got detents on either side.
Oh, okay, so it snaps out. Yeah, it does.
Just stick your finger in and it pops out.
Don't forget the
Yeah, don't put your finger
Oh,
in.
there we go. Look at that. Now it's cocked.
Does it actually work as a ratchet though?
I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, does it? Well, it locks it there.
Oh, what? It probably just locks it so you can get your finger in there to load it.
Oh, so
without smashing your finger.
So kind of like Grand Thumb, but Diana Thumb.
Yeah. Automatic safety.
Yeah, which is all Dianas have it. Here he goes. He's going to squeeze the trigger on it and poof.
No, not.
Okay.
No, we got to have some back pressure on it.
Yeah,
I'll put up against my foot.
So these things are a definitely a. Do we want to say? Do we want to say higher end? Air
They definitely are.
I call them a premium. They're real nice.
I was going to go with the higher end. I just.
Yeah, I mean this is a serious air rifle that sort of competes with 22 long rifles for power and that sort of stuff.
It's 900 feet per second. Actually, I did a bit of a write-up in the newsletter that just went out.
Smell that. That's your boot cooking. You know.
Sorry,
Oh,
Dave was talking before you interrupted.
Throw it back up here so that we can throw out the price too.
That's not thumbhole as well.
Yeah, they're both thumbholes.
So the TH is for target hunter,
Oh, right.
not thumbhole.
Shut up. So,
I knew that. I just was waiting for someone else to say it.
so I didn't care. So basically, we got these ones on, both of them on special. So normally above $1,000 or around $1,000 for the air rifle. We've actually got them on really good at the moment. So the 470 was $985. Got them going for $770. So quite a good.
Yeah, whereas this one is
that's the 56.
56 thumbhole,
Yeah.
which is
Which-
a bigger air rifle, and it's got the side lever, yeah? Well, this one's got a ratchet on it because it's quite hard to crank. And so if you stop halfway through, it's not going to snap shut on you. So, right, it's got this recoil, the whole action recoils back to soak up recoil.
I can't imagine how much recoil you get in something like that anyway.
A fair bit.
Okay.
because the big heavy mechanism inside it. So let's pretend you get to there and you're like, oh, I can't do it anymore, and you stop. It doesn't snap back. Yeah, it's actually the ratchets held it, and so you can go again.
Still got a good bit to go then. There we go.
Yeah,
Cocked.
and then it won't shut until you push the button on the side, which is the ratchet. You push that down out of the way, and then it'll shut.
There must have been a way previously that you found out about this.
Yeah, I bent one.
You bent one?
Yeah,
Right.
20 years ago.
Yeah, well, because I've never seen one in the flesh before, and as soon as it came in, the first thing Zaine did when he came running out was like, don't fuck it up. Don't bend that rod.
Yeah, push the ratchet out of the way, don't fuck it up.
You know, sometimes you just gotta...
This is a bigger, heavier air rifle though, yeah? It's like a big unit.
And that one's in 22 as well, so...
They're both 900 feet per second. But that one's a good 5 kilos. It's a big, heavy thing.
Yeah, this one's got a bit shorter barrel.
17 instead of 18 inches.
Yeah.
They are a serious air rifle for serious people. Here we go, everybody get ready. Put the safety off. Those.
So yeah, but the whole action recoil's in the stock. It's supposed to do that. It soaks up recoil. Because anyone who shoots these big ass air rifles know the big spring air rifles jump around a fair bit when you shoot them.
What was the saving on that one? So I think it was $12.85
It's
to
down
begin
to
with.
860 or something. 860, yeah. So it's what, almost $400 off.
Yeah, so was over $1,200 that 56, and it's now down to
almost 30% off.
so about 30%.
Pretty
So
good saving.
if you're looking for a serious air rifle, get in and have a look. We've got a couple on the shelf. We've also got the
Well,
wire
if you're looking
arc.
for one for Christmas, tell your missus to come in and have a look.
Yeah, and we've got a wire arc on the shelf as well, HW100,
Yep.
which is their PCP one. That one's in a thumbhole stock as well. And we've also got the Diana AR8, which is another big break barrel, but that one's singing. That one's nearly 1,300 feet per second.
In 177.
1177.
Yeah, that our 770 as well. That's quite a serious unit too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Macropod, they do fuck up pigeons. I like it. I like it a lot. Hey, Lukey. Hunter says, hello, Trent. Hello, Hunter. How are you? Haven't seen you for a while. Alrighty. So, I think before we move on to pulling piss out of a particular caliber, we might as well draw this.
Yeah,
role
you
play.
guys go for it.
Yeah.
I need another drink, actually.
You need another drink? Alright.
It's fucking hot out today. Yeah, back stuff.
ZZ Top. Come over here.
Should I put on my sunglasses?
Should put up
the
a
bar?
Alright, hang on, let me just give it a good shake up. So, this has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to give this gun away for ages.
It's been what, like 4 months now, hasn't it?
Now remember, if you do win this, you have to get in contact with us. Otherwise, I'll have to redraw it in another 5 months. So, if your name gets pulled out of the hat now, make sure you contact me, yeah? Give it a good shake. Alright, get in there, my friend. Get in there. Just the one.
Around just the one.
Just the one. Don't kick it around.
It's a good name. It's David Nye.
David Nye. David Nye, you have won the A22. So, get in contact with us. We'll give you a couple of weeks like we did with the last winner. Haha, who didn't win it. Get in contact with us. Give me a call. We are open tomorrow from 9 till 4. But anytime during the week, say that you're David Nye, you need to talk to Trent, and we'll get it organised for you, okay?
But only something with David Nye if you actually are David Nye.
Yeah, if you're not David Nye, you didn't win it.
You probably shouldn't tell us that you're David Nye.
So, congratulations, David. That's awesome.
That is good. I hope we
How good
hope
is
you've
that?
given it away this time.
How good is that? Oh, sorry, Andy. Gilksy reckons I pronounced his name wrong. Yeah, I did, mate. Sorry. You were in there. It was, like, just so you guys can see, there was quite a fair few entries in there. So, yeah, we did the best for you. But David Nye, you're the winner. No, don't do that again.
I was going to do it to you as you walked out, but
Well, if no one wins it this time, I reckon we just do a video, like an hour and a half long video of us just putting as many rounds through it as we can until we kill it.
honestly,
Burn it, you reckon?
I kind of like that idea. It's a fun gun to shoot. Like,
I'll have to fuck with it, try and get it fully auto or something. Get like a 50 round magazine. Am I writing or?
Yeah, well, you're reading, so I can write.
Well,
So that we don't kick these over, can you go throw them in the sea container?
Yeah.
Please.
cheers.
Legendary.
am I
Legendary.
pros, cons?
You are pros of war.
Okay. So, 300 Winchester short magnum. So, the 300 Winchester.
I just wanted to explain.
Do you want to do the intro one?
Well, no, I'm going to let you do it because I just
Because
want
you
to.
don't know shit.
That's exactly right. So, as we all know, every week he normally gives me crap about not knowing the ins and outs of a duck's anus, which, hey, it's true. I'm here to sell shit. I'm not here to know why the fucking webbing on it's fucking 2/3 of a fucking gnat's butthole. I don't give a fuck about that. I only care about selling the shit. He has to care about it because he has to know why it will work and why it won't. Now, from the minute I walked into this shop, he's hated fucking Wisms. Absolutely hated it. Hated WSMs. Every time I talk to him about it, he tells me basically to fuck
I'm
off.
not going to disagree with you there.
That's right. So for this particular one, I decided, hey, I've been chosen with cons on it. I know the cons because, hey, I've spoken to him for the last 5 years about it. So I thought, fuck it, I'll throw the pros to him and see what happens. So,
Okay. So, 300 Winchester short mag was a cartridge that was created about, what, 15 years ago?
2001.
Was that far on?
It was, yeah.
So almost 20 years ago now. So it's actually survived quite well for when you compare it to all the other Wisms like 223, WSM and 270 or 7mm or or the 8mm 325. It's actually survived quite well, and that's because it actually has some practical use. So what they did is they got the original 404 Jeffries case, and they necked it down and shortened it. So the 404 Jeffries case is what they use as a parent case for the RUMs, Remington Ultra Magnum cases, which are the full long action cases. The Winchester short mags are the same case, they're just shortened back for short action, so 308 length actions. But they've still got that fat 550 thou body diameter with a 532 rim. So the same rim as like a 300 Win mag or something like that, yeah? So it's actually a rebated rim case. The rim is smaller than the body. And yeah, so they hold a reasonable amount of powder. You do have to use slow burning powder in them because they're quite an overbore cartridge. 30 cal projectiles, there's a lot of advantages to 30 cal projectiles in that there's so much versatility for them. You shoot everything from 110 to a 250 grain projectile if you've got the right twist rate. So they're quite good in that respect. Lots of grunt out to relatively long distances. Some people claim you get 300 Winchester Magnum velocities out of them, and you will, but they're actually got less capacity than a 300 Win mag. They're developing more velocity because they're loaded up to a higher pressure from the factory. Yeah, so it's a modern cartridge, really good performance out to long range, comparable to 300 Win mags and all that sort of stuff. So pros, I would say, is projectile choice, velocity. It's a modern cartridge made for modern rifles, and so it goes the benefit of a well-constructed case for high pressures. What else did I say that was a pro for 300 short mag?
Never heard you say anything nice about it at all, to be honest.
No, just then.
Then it's a modern cartridge.
Yeah, modern
modern
cartridge,
hand.
good projectile selection. So the cartridge itself was made to be fit inside a 308 length action, yeah. And the reason that's important is if you're shooting medium-sized game, in very hilly environments. So if you're in New Zealand, Central Europe, something like that, where you've got very mountainous areas where you have to try and find your quarry, saving every gram is very important. And so having a rifle which is half an inch shorter than like a 3-in-1 mag saves a lot on weight, makes the actions quite rigid as well, and so you a little bit more efficient sort of build. So the rifle in general is a bit more slender, and so it holds a lot of value with people who shoot like those mountain sheep and that sort of.
Well, this is where I had a con, which is both a pro and a con depending on which side of that shooting you come from. So as a pro, what you're saying in that style of shooting, you know, having a light rifle, a shorter rifle that generally doesn't hold as many rounds, because, you know, let's face it, their magazines are quite small in comparison. You know, they're normally only on 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a definite pro. For the West Australian style, you know, shooting that we do out of a vehicle, where you'll come across a mob of stuff, you know, having 3 shots in a magazine is a big con.
Absolutely.
You know? And for
especially
a rifle,
if you're shooting like camels or something like that.
And a rifle like that, you know, being that it burns, okay, slightly less powder than a 300 Win Mag, but it's pretty similar kicking. You know, you're going to have a light rifle that's going to be quite, you know, give you quite a boot.
Yeah. So the lightness of the rifle exacerbates the power of the cartridge.
And the felt recoil.
So, not pussy friendly.
No, exactly. And staying with the magazines, everything that I found, generally it's not the best at feeding from a magazine.
No, short fat cartridges don't feed from magazines.
Same with remated rims generally.
Yeah.
You know, they tend to have issues with feeding.
Especially if you're feeding it from a double stack mag that comes up to a double stack, rather than a double stack mag that comes up to a single round. If you're feeding from a double stack mag that comes up to a single round, they're usually not too bad because you've got plenty of case to pick up. But if you're trying to pick up a case which is in the bottom right hand corner of the action well, then it makes it much harder to strip those cases out, especially rebated rim cartridges.
So we've done all that. Now, I'm moving on to the sales side.
Feeding.
I'm going to move on to the sales side of it.
Yep.
Ammo. Expensive.
Who makes it?
There's a couple of different ones actually. So we've got your normal, like your Federal and your Winchester. There's some Norma out there, but getting it at the moment is next to impossible. And what we're looking at from all the research that I've done, if you want to buy Federal, you're going to be looking at least $4 a shot now. Winchester's
$4 a shot.
A shot.
So it's like $80 a packet.
Yep, Winchester's a little bit cheaper at $3, but not by much. So
it's about $1, I'd say.
Yeah, about $1. But
about 25%.
About a whole buck per shot, which is not too bad, but it's still expensive. You know, when you go to one of my next points,
I mean, that's $60 a packet. 300 Win Mag ammo, $70 a packet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Going to my next one, 300 Win Mag, it starts about $70. So at least it's sort of
not that expensive.
No, it's not.
Not when you compare apples and apples. Like, oh yeah, it's expensive compared to air rifle pellets. Yeah, sure, you know, like, depends on where your baseline is.
Yeah, but you're clutching at straws now. It's still expensive.
You're not clutching at straws.
Yeah.
And expensive is I fucking hate the term expensive, because it's in your mind. Like, you might determine something's expensive. Like, if you go out and shoot 10 rounds a night and you've spent $35 worth of ammo, if you consider that expensive, well then you're a tight cunt. Because I'd spend $25 on a burger when we go out shooting, you know what I'm saying? Like reality, you spend how much? You know, you spend $50-$60 on fuel and your food and all your other gear and stuff, you know, $30-$40 worth of ammo is nothing. So I don't like the term expensive. But it costs more than other similar calibers, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it does. But it's also harder to get.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a big thing, especially now.
Yeah.
Because if even like the regular stuff's getting hard to get, so 300 Winchester short mag will just be impossible to get.
Yeah, which moves on to my next point. and it's still an expensive one, but brass. If you want to reload your own ammo, brass is a lot more expensive. Like $50, a 50 pack of brass is going to set you back around $140 minimum.
That's more than ammo.
Yep. So, but that's all because of how we are at the moment. You know, trying to find bits and pieces for our companies that are still making it, the price has just gone through the roof. Right. And my last one, my last con.
Yeah, you go.
Anybody that owns one
Oh fuck, you took the words out of my mouth. Oh,
cannot seem to say the fucking thing correctly, and they give it the stupidest nickname. 300 WSM. Oh, we're going to call it that? No, I'm going to call it a fucking wizard.
You're just taking that from me. On one of my blogs I wrote that.
Did you?
Yeah.
No way.
You probably found it in your research.
Oh,
fuck it.
No, I don't read your shit. I put up with you enough times.
No, it's definitely one of those things. Like it's like it's like, and we've said it before, but it's like the people who make homebrew beer.
Yeah, or 270 acres.
Yeah, it's not good enough that they do it themselves. They've got to actually come up to you and tell you that they do it. They got to sell it to you, like they're door-to-door gym salesman or something like that. You know?
Yeah. I haven't had too many people that come in and ask for a wisdom though, but when they do, they tend to be that person. Like you know they own it as soon as they pull up. Low weight. Yeah, you better put low weight on.
Yeah. All right. Do you want me to throw an extra couple of ones out there?
You want to throw another con out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So when the Wisdoms first, fucking got me saying that now. when the Winchester Short Mags first came out, they had some problems with the pressures, yeah? And they actually had to back pressures off in the early days because they couldn't get cases where the webs were strong enough to actually get the velocity out of them. And so it was a bit embarrassing because they weren't getting the velocities out of them that they were advertising because they had to load them back so they wouldn't fail. The other thing they did with the Winchester Short Magnums in general, not so much with the 300s because they weren't too bad, but a lot of them they actually had to put chrome lined barrels in the rifles to stop you from wearing the barrels out so quick.
Oh,
Yeah, they wouldn't admit that they were barrel burners, but all the barrels were coming out chrome lined. The other problem that they had was because of the case design, is that it made it very hard, especially when they were functioning at 62,000 PSI, which is what they wanted them to do, made it very hard to get the cases out of the chamber. Very high pressure, cases don't tend to come back and don't want to come out of the chambers. So what did they do?
Load it down.
No, they loaded all their cases, all their ammunition with nickel cases.
Oh.
So 300 Winchester Short Mags, very commonly you find them with nickel cases because nickel cases contract more after you're fired, so they're easier to get out. They're smoother, they come out easier. But you can't reload them as much, so they fail quicker.
Yeah, right.
Because they're a harder case.
Yep, yep.
You know, so there's trade-offs for the performance that a 300 Winchester Short Mag offers in such a little package.
So, if you could own one, would you?
No.
No.
Well, I've got a 300 Winchester. I've got a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah.
And
Is it in bits?
yeah, of course
Yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
It's I've had several 300 Win Mags, and I've had a couple of mates with 300 Short Mags. And performance-wise on game, animals don't know the difference.
No.
Yeah. As far as the availability of product, yeah, 300 Win Mag is a bit easier to get cases for and that sort of stuff. The rifles are a bit bigger. So it depends on what you want it to do. But if I was to have a 30 cal nowadays, it would be a 300 PRC, hands down. But I've still got all my loading info and cases and everything for my 300 Win Mag. And I love 300 Win Mag. It was the first high-powered rifle I ever bought myself, was a 300 Win Mag. So I've fallen in love with it, you know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go anything other than a 300 Win Mag. It would take, like, if I was offered a 300 Winchester Short Mag for free,
Yeah.
I would sell it.
You'd sell it?
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. You know what I'm saying? You would have to pay me to take a 300 Short Mag.
Well, maybe you could convert it to like something useful like a 308.
So
No.
yeah, like if you get a 308, you'd have to open the bolt face up.
Yeah.
You'd have to change the magazine box. You'd have to change the lips in the magazine. It's a completely different rifle. It's not like converting like a 243 to 308 or something like that. You know, it's a huge conversion to get them to work.
It's a special action. As
Yeah.
such, you know, like,
And that's the thing,
because
if
it's
you've got
got
to throw a
such a
Winchester,
large bolt.
yeah,
Please.
and that's the thing, if you've got to throw a Winchester short mag, you cannot turn it into anything else.
No, you're fucked. That's all it is.
Yeah, if you decide you don't like it,
Yep.
yeah,
You decide you don't like it, you'll just
Sell.
have to sell it to other weird cunts that have got one.
yeah.
So,
So,
love it. Love it.
so we've come up with some good pros and some good cons for the Winchester short mag. I know, I know a couple of people that have got thrown Winchester short mags who are probably already in the comments soaking that I was hanging shit on it, but that's my job. Make sure you make a educated decision when you're choosing your calibers. Make sure that calibers like throwing a Winchester short mag are right for you. There's a lot of advantages to Winchester short mag. I wouldn't say, certainly out of the Winchester short mags, 30 cal is the best.
If you,
Oh, they changed the throat angle on the short mags as well to get more barrel life.
in Western Australia,
Mhm.
is a 300 WSM the pick for what you'd have out of a 30 cal? What would you sit there and actively push it towards someone, or would you push towards them 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC? You know,
Well, I mean, the devil's in the details. It depends on exactly what they want to do.
Yeah.
Certainly, I would recommend a 300 PRC over a 300 Winchester short mag
Yep.
in WA, because there's a huge number of advantages and very little disadvantages to going on a 300 PRC.
Yep.
Or a 300 Win mag.
Yeah.
Again, 300 Win mags, performance very similar. The downsides very minimal compared to a 300 Winchester short mag.
Yeah.
300 Win mag is still my favourite, and there's still a lot of advantages to it.
fair enough.
But depends what you want to do.
Yeah. You're very
In a lot of it,
you're very sitting on the fence tonight. You're very this is normally the other side of it. Normally you're just like, if you got a 300 WSM,
but that's because I'm
it's
usually
because you're shit.
well. That's the thing. A lot of the cases that we've pulled out so far have been definite, like really good case design, really shit case design. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first one that was sort of like, it's good, but like, if I was working for Winchester in 2001, would I have designed that? Like, would I go with that? Would I stake my career on that cartridge? No.
No.
Fuck off. I'd go and do something else. Like, the Ruger cases are a far better idea, far better design.
The RCMs or Yep. Oh, D, fucking D. Junior.
Hey, Junior.
Junior's on. What about the new 6.8 Western?
The hell's that?
I don't know. You're 2 steps ahead of us all the time.
Western. It's probably an AR caliber.
Sammy's specified cartridge from Winchester. Don't know, mate. Like
6.8. It sounds like an AR platform sort of thing.
I had to look it up because he was like, "Oh, what do you know about the new 6mm arc?" Like, what? Fuck?
Oh yeah, that's
what?
just a 6mm Creedmoor type thing.
Something like that, but it's designed for
AR
AR
platform.
platforms.
Yeah. Fit inside the mag boxes.
So the nickel cases, are they more expensive?
Well, I mean,
generally-
if it's all you can get, then
Generally loaded ammo, yes, because they put them in their premium range. So, yep. Jake reckons he loves WSM rounds. Con, Chris Con, it's not a 7mm Rem mag.
nah. And I've had this argument a few times with people over the years. Oh, 30 cals, 7mm is better than 30 cal. No. There's some applications, yeah, maybe, but you can't just draw a one bow and say a 7mm is better than a 30 cal in every instance. It's just not true.
No.
Significantly different. You know, we're talking over half a mil difference in size. You know, it's like it's a huge jump.
I need a 30 cal, I don't have one.
Yeah, you got a 7mm punchy.
Yep.
I would skip 30 cal if I were you.
Well, I'm thinking I just need like one of everything.
Yeah, you do need that.
Yeah.
What have I got? I got rid of my 20 cal, but Nick's
Well,
got
Nick's
it
got
because
the
I
20.
built a Nicky. I pulled the barrel out of my gun to put in Nick's gun, which was a 20 tactical.
Yeah, it's a nice little
Yeah.
rifle.
I've got a 223. Bill's got a 2250. I've got a 6mm PPC. I've got a 6mm Remington Ackley improved.
Yeah.
25 cal. I'll build a 25 223, which I've still got out there.
The 6
I haven't
mil.
shot that for 20 years.
Yeah, the 6mm Rem mag. That's still one of my favourite.
Rem mag.
Or 6mm Rem that you got.
7x57 again, a 6mm. It's a really good case.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, the headspace is slightly different, but yeah, 25 cal. I've got that 25 223.
280.
Yeah, you're jumping 6.5.
Oh, I'm just naming the ones that I remember seeing.
Yeah. So I've got a 26 Nosler, which I've just got to finish off.
Yeah.
6.5x55.
You got 26 Nosler.
I had one for fucking years, mate.
Really?
Yeah, I just never put it together.
Hmm.
I started making a muzzle brake for it, and then sat on it for too long. It's that really weird one with the flutes and shit. I don't like it anymore. I might do something different.
Yeah, right.
26 Nosler, 6.5x55. I had a 6.5x55 until Bill stole the action off it.
Yeah. I think I need one of them.
270 is probably the only caliber I don't have. You know, I had a 270 and I turned it into a 280. So a 280, 7x64, 7mm Rem Ultra Mag, 30 cal. We got a 300 mag. I got a 308.
You got 7x64 too.
280, yeah, same thing.
Well, you got a 280 and you got a 7x64.
No. My 280 got turned into a 7x64.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. I don't have a 280 Remington anymore.
Okay. What'd you do that for?
Because I can then buy Lapua brass
There you
in
go.
7x64.
Well, no, can't. We got
I've
them.
got like 2 or 3 boxes of that. I think.
He doesn't shoot it anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, 300 mag. I've got a 308 in a Seiko 591. Again, I've just got
Well,
to
you
put it
didn't
back
even know that you had that until I found it.
together. No, you're thinking about the 338 284 that I built, the single shot.
Oh,
That's another one.
That's what I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any 8mm.
No,
I had a 338 Lapua on a Ruger, a 338 Norman mag as well on a Ruger. We'll get that 338 behind you, 338 Lapua. Oh, there's new standards there's a new policy, and I'd have to pull it out to tell you, don't take this verbatim, but there is a new policy in regards to barrel lengths and overall lengths and all that sort of stuff. So if you've got a barrel, your barrel can be no shorter than 400mm from the muzzle to the bolt face. However, if it's under 400mm, but no less than 325mm,
yeah, something like that.
325mm, you can have that, but the overall length of the rifle has to be more than 75 centimetres.
Yeah, 750 mil. Yeah.
But if you've
Which
got,
is-
and I posed the question because I know people are going to ask this anyway. I've got a Ruger Precision, with a folding buttstock, collapsible folding buttstock.
Mm-hmm.
When you fold the buttstock, the rifle is longer than 750 mil, 75 centimetres. So it's no shorter than a gun with a 325 mil barrel. That's something. So, but no, you still can't have it.
Well, it's still concealable. Remember, we proved that by putting it down the shirt.
sure.
Yeah.
No, that was a ticker.
No, I put the Ruger down my shirt.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yuck! I've been touching that.
I know. You licked it too. It was great. All right.
Oh, it smells like man.
Bruce Davey, that's the gun we gave away, mate. So it's the Savage A22R.
That's not the winner anymore, is it? You can change that on the tag.
Yeah, that's not the winner anymore. Sorry, Jason. You had your chances. So, yeah, that's what it looks like, mate. So, quite a good piece of kit, really.
Sweet. So we've covered everything tonight.
Yeah.
We've had old shit. We've had updates with police. We've had all sorts of stuff.
What's your bipod on? Or your tripod on such a fucking piss?
I don't know. One of the legs must be like not put out properly.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so the barrel length thing's got to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think I've got a 400mm barrel Adler there somewhere, which I might have to cut down to 325mm now.
Well, I reckon you should cut down that 338 behind you down again.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. You know, it used to be fucking long, and now you're just chopping bits off it.
It was actually a lot nicer when it was left as the M24A3.
Yeah.
But
It wouldn't matter. The police aren't licensing.
I know, but it was just a nicer rifle than what it is now. In
That's
saying
a fucking unit.
in saying that though, that gets spoken about a hell of a lot more than the M24 did.
Yeah, M24 was just another rifle.
Yeah, people walk in and go, Oh, M24. Oh, cool. And then they say that and they go, "Oh, what's that on? Is it semi-auto?" But it's not. So that's always good fun.
The other new one in there is the Mark 5 in 243 SVM. They've made them for a long time. And it's got Steiner 5 to 25 on it.
Nice one.
But it's not for sale. It's not yours, it's Bill's Steiner.
Yeah.
Your Steiner's that GS3
No.
piece of crap.
Bill said I don't know that one.
Oh.
No, you did.
Well, you got to have that Schmidt and Bender.
You did.
Bill got Schmidt and Bender,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he said I might as well put that one on the second
Well,
middle.
fuck off, I'm having that one.
Ah, too late. He's already fucking said open.
It's not too late.
It is.
Well, have you got it at home?
I can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to put it on what rifle?
Damn you.
The 7 mil, which I'm building.
I could take it home, put it on my 6 mil, which is at home.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. We all good?
Yeah, we're all
Done.
good. Thanks for tuning in again. It's
Guys will be open tomorrow from 9 till 4. I won't be here. Him and,
me
him
and
and
Ross.
Red Cunt will be.
and Roscoe will be on. So get in, have a look at those air rifles. You know, they're not going to last, and especially not at that price. But yeah, pop in.
Do you want to tell them what I asked? I had a medical emergency I had to ask Nine during the week. On a purchase order.
Oh, what did you ask?
I had a medical emergency during the week. I had to ask the guys at NIA a very serious question. So on the purchase orders, there's always the opportunity to put quotes in, like notes and stuff in there about the order and stuff. And I had to ask him, what did I ask him?
I don't know, I can't remember.
I'm like, yeah, it's relatively normal for men to have one of your testicles not to be the same size as the others. But I had to ask the question. I said, hey, look, I know it's not normal, but is it okay that one of my testicles is considerably larger than the other two?
The other two.
We never got a reply from it though.
No, we don't. But
It's
that'll
probably
be
gonna be
written
printed
on the invoice.
It'll
when
be
we
written on
get
the
to
invoice.
it.
But I
inside the
expected a
box.
phone call from Kivas. Like
Yeah.
Kivas is, I know he's on holidays.
I don't think Kivas is on.
Yeah, I think he's on holidays because otherwise normally I get a phone call from Kivas pretending to be HR and cancelling our account or something like that.
Nathan goes,
But they do have a sense of humour.
Nathan wants to know why neither of us own a 177 air rifle. I do.
Bill's got one.
I've got one.
I've got an AR-6, whatever it is.
I've got a Daisy power line.
Oh, oof.
It's not bad actually. It's
I see
actually
no-
knocked off a number of mice at my house. So
I have absolutely no use for an air rifle because they're very limited nowadays in their use. Like orchardists shooting birds and where you don't want to damage fruit and that sort of stuff. And where you don't want to risk the bullet leaving the property, we're shooting up in the air. Air rifles are a good option.
yeah.
You know, and a lot of guys nowadays are using them for rabbits and all that sort of stuff. But you've really got to have an affinity with them. Like, I generally don't like them. I prefer to shoot them with a 22 or something like that. You know, with a conventional 22 long rifle.
Yeah, I mean, but there's definitely there's their place.
Yeah, but that's because I grew up out in the country.
Yeah. Well, grow up.
Excuse me if you're going, guys.
I don't think you've grown up yet, but yeah.
No, when I was younger.
You got older out of the country. Alright, so
Thank you, Jonas, for the cob.
it's great to be back on.
I thought it was delicious.
Well, I mean, no one else knows because you ate it all.
And then all of it, there's still some there.
So thanks very much for tuning in. Give us a like, make sure you share it. Get your mates back on watching us again. And yeah, give us some ideas on what you want us to talk about. Throw it out there, you know. If we can, we will.
What products, you know, what kind of shooting.
You know, and don't say something stupid like, oh, cool, can you guys do a review of the latest fucking Schmidt and Bender 5 to 45, $8,000 fucking scope. I won't have one here, but just give us something, you know, it'll be great. So thanks very much. Have a good weekend. We'll catch us after, and yeah, me and Roscoe see you tomorrow.